Welcome everyone. This is the first in a series of webinars about our latest release. This is Frontegg's biggest release. We've worked really hard on this, and we're really excited to show it. My name is Aaron Taylor. I'm a product manager out of our Tel Aviv office, and I personally worked on the security suite for the better part of half a year to a year, and I'm really excited to show it to you. As you know, security is really important to Frontegg. Now, I'm not going to go into like the ins and outs of all the technical aspects of how we keep your apps secure, and we do. But I'm going to walk you through all the latest product improvements that we've done that constitute what we call Security Suite. So let's get started. The agenda for today, it'll be short, about 20 minutes, hopefully. So first, we're going to take a tour of the Frontegg dashboard, a product that I hope you spend a lot of time in. We're going to look at the new security engines that we've added. Then we're going to look at security events, so analytics. And then we're going to talk a bit about environment settings. And then we're going to jump over to a demo app, which could be your app, where I'll show you what we've done in the admin portal. And then if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer those as well. Feel free, there's Q&A at the bottom. Feel free to ask questions as we go, and I'll see what I can get to at the end. Okay, so let's jump into the Frontegg dashboard. So this is our home screen. As I'm sure you're aware, it's brand new. Actually, we just redesigned it. And today we're going to talk about security. So I'm going to go into an environment. Right now I have development set up, and I'm going to go into security. So I'm going to first actually go to security rules, where now you can see we have 7 different engines. Now, 4 of these are engines that we already had previously. So bot detection, new device, brute force protection, and breach password, we already have had before, but each one has gotten something new. So in bot detection, if I go here and press manage, what we had before this release was reCAPTCHA. So Google's reCAPTCHA v3, where behind the scenes they check if it's a bot, where you have to enter a site key and secret. But in addition to that, or in case before you set up reCAPTCHA, you can use Frontegg bot detection, so an in-house proprietary detection out of the box. So this, you don't have to do anything, it just works. So if a bot is detected, then you can choose what happens to the user. And these 4 actions are totally brand new. So before Frontegg Forward, we had limited options. I think it was just allow and block. But now we have allow, challenge, block, and lock in terms of increasing strictness. So as you can probably imagine, allow is allow the user through to the app. Challenge is challenge the user with MFA, and we'll talk about that and how it works together with the others. It's actually adaptive MFA, if you're familiar with the term. Then in terms of greater strictness, you have block, and then you have lock the user, which is the strictest action you can take. What we've also added to each engine is a notification to the end user every time this policy takes an action. So this is really important in case, let's say, a hacker gets access to, or is trying to access your account. It's not you who's trying to do it, so email is a way we can notify you. New device, we've also added similar actions. So this time, just allow and challenge. Brute force protection. So when someone enters an incorrect password too many times, you can choose how many times that is, like for Frontegg Forward. And then we've added, either you allow or lock. And then breach password. We've added allow, block, and challenge, where if you choose block, we'll actually pop up a screen to encourage the user to change their password, but I'm going to show you what that looks like. And now we'll get to the new engines that we added. So we added 3 new engines: impossible travel, suspicious IPs, and stale users. Impossible travel, if you're not familiar with it, it's basically if you, let's say, log in from New York and then 5 minutes later you log in from Tel Aviv, that's pretty suspicious. And it's basically impossible that you've traveled from that location to that location in time. So what we basically do, like any impossible travel engine, is we calculate the time it would have taken on a plane to travel from New York to Tel Aviv. If your login time between those two was less than the travel time, then we trigger this engine. For this engine, we offer allowing, blocking, and challenging. The next engine that we've added is suspicious IPs. So this is just, we have a list of tons and tons of IPs that we know are suspicious. And if a user tries to log in with one of these IPs, that will trigger this engine. And you have allow, challenge, block, or lock. And the last one is stale users. So this one is really useful if you have an app where users might be dormant for a while or might leave their account. And this will you can define how long a user needs to not log in for and log into all their accounts for, and then after which they will get a certain action. So they'll either be allowed, challenged, or blocked. So let's jump over to the app real quick. So I have just a demo app here set up. I am going to actually log out. And then I'm going to log in again. And I'm going to log in with an obviously breached password. Actually, I'm just going to go and check what so breached password right now we have challenge. So I'm going to go and change that to allow. So let's say I'm a vendor who doesn't really care about passwords, or I just want to, let people sign up and not worry too much about the kind of password they've used. I'm going to go back to my app and refresh, continue, and then I'm going to use a password that I've already created before that's obviously breached. So because the action is allow, I'm allowed into the app. But if I log out, go back here and change this to challenge, let's say. Wait for that to save, go back to the app. Going to log in again. Going to do the same thing, same password. So now I've hit a challenge. So as you can see, this basically I've gotten a code sent to my email. This is in a case where a user doesn't have MFA enabled for their account. So if the user has MFA enabled for their account, let's say they've implemented SMS or fingerprint or security key or an authenticator app, then they'll see those options here during an MFA challenge. But because I'm a user who doesn't have that set up, then I have a code that's sent to my email. So if I went to my email, plugged in the code, and then I can actually just do that. So I'll get the code, go back to my app, plug it in, and I'm verified and I'm in. So so as you can see, I started off with a breached password policy of allow, and then I moved to challenge. But how do we actually keep track of these events? How do we know what's going on in terms of security in the app? So for that, we've created this whole new area called security events, where we show you a history of all the security events that happen in your app over the latest time period. So I'm going to zoom in on the last hour. And as you can see, in the last hour, I've had 2 not mitigated events and 1 mitigated event that was challenged. So those 2 not mitigated events were me signing in on a new device and me signing in with a breached password, first as not mitigated because it was allowed. And then at my time, 9:12, it was a mitigated event because I was challenged, as you because I went to my email and got a code. So that, we just saved that user from entering with a breached password. And so let me just explain this screen a little bit. So here we have, so what you land on is all events. So this we split into not mitigated and mitigated. Not mitigated is all the events that are allowed, and mitigated are all the events that are either challenged, blocked, or locked. But you can also drill into each engine. So as you can see, we had an event for not mitigated and an event for mitigated for breached password. And as you know, I'm sure in your production apps, this will fill up with data and you'll be able to see a nice graph, hopefully mitigated results. The other thing I want to mention is something we're still working on, but it should be ready very soon, is that in case you want to really dig into each event, you'll be able to see all these events mixed in with the logs. So what that will allow is basically to see a user journey. So if you want to know who this user was that tried to log in with a breached password or successfully logged in with a breached password, you'll be able to just press this button, see on logs, and you'll see a whole history of a user and the breached password and their login, failed login, all those things. So we're still working on that. But it's very, very close to being released, and we'll let you know when that's available to you. Okay, I'm going to move on to the next segment, which is the environment settings. So to make room for the security suite, we've made a couple changes in how you manage settings in your app. So you may remember that in order to manage app settings, there used to be a button up here which was something along the lines of app settings, but we've actually moved that. So app settings has become environment settings, and what that means is you're not setting settings for your entire app. You're actually setting settings for each environment individually. So it allows for a lot more flexibility between each environment. So right now I only have one environment, development. But the settings that you're used to seeing there have been spread out in a bunch of different places. So if you're looking for password settings, they're here in authentication, as well as passwordless social logins, SSO, machine-to-machine authentication, user impersonation. So these are all things that used to be in app settings and are now within each environment, as well as MFA and session management settings, which have moved as well. And these are things that apply to all accounts. So if you were to, for example, force MFA here, it would apply to all accounts. But that's actually a pretty strict action to take, which leads me to my next area of the security suite that I want to show you. So if you go to the builder and go to the admin portal, and I really, really hope you use the admin portal because I think it's one of our strongest features. And if you go down here and you enable the security tab right here, your users, your accounts will get this brand new security tab that is, I think, amazing. And I'm going to show it to you right now. Okay, so I'm back in my app. I'm going to open the admin portal. And as you can see, I have all these options. So I have my regular user like individual user privacy and security options. Those haven't changed. But what has changed a ton is this security tab. So this is all new. And what we've done is we want to help you as an app developer delegate some of your security concerns to your customers. So what we've done is we've separated each account we've given each account a level. So we have vulnerable, weak, moderate, strong, and fortified. And we give each account customized recommendations on how they can improve security in their account. So as you can see, this account right now is weak. And I have 10 recommendations I can follow, as you can see here. And let's go through each one. So we have MFA, which is probably one of the strongest security actions your accounts can take. So as I mentioned before, you could force it on an app level, which require all of your accounts to log in with MFA. that's a bit of a strict action. So you can give that choice to each account. And what they can do is they can go here and manage. So they can go to configuration and force it for their account. This is the same as it was before. But now we have something really cool, which is the summary page. And now your accounts or admins in your accounts will be able to see a list of users in their account that list of users that have not set up MFA. So, and by role. So you might ask, okay, how many admins in my account have not set up MFA? And you'll be able to see a list of that here. So I think this is really, really cool. If we go back, oh, actually, I'm going to force MFA. And you'll see, hopefully, that yes. So I'm still weak, but the circle has gone a bit further. So my account is a bit more protected because MFA is one of the strongest things you can do for security for your account. Um, excuse me, you have sessions as well. So session management has stayed the same. Um, we have added the recommendations. So I'm going to go ahead and enable all of these as well. I'm going to save. And I'm going to go back and see if our score has improved. Yes, it has. So we've gone from weak to moderate. And if you keep doing this, you'll eventually get to a very strong score. That means your account is well secured. If you use password as an authentication method, we now show you a list of users that have breached passwords. And you're able to send emails to each and every one of them or to all of them at once to remind them to reset their password. If we go back to security, we have, I'll get to inactivity in a second. We have restrictions, which still have IP restrictions and domain restrictions. We're actually adding something new to this. I'm not going to spoil it right now, but hopefully within the next couple of months, we're going to add a new feature. So keep your eyes peeled. And something brand new for security is inactivity. So this is a way for admins to see which of their users have not been active in over X number of days. And then once they see that list, they can take actions like deleting that user or locking that user. Because stale users can be actually quite dangerous for an account when they come back. Let's say someone stole their credentials and came back. So they'll see a list of that here. And that's the new security tab. And yeah, I think this is a really, really important part of the security suite. And I really, really hope you use it. So that concludes the tour of the app. And yeah, so if you write questions in the Q&A, I'll be happy to answer them. Just go back here. Okay, got a question. Okay, so Gregory is asking a question. So do we explain to the users why they're being prompted for MFA or magic code? We wouldn't want them to think there's a bug in the Remember Me feature. So as of now, we don't. So we don't say why exactly MFA has why they've been prompted for MFA. We do have a chart in our docs explaining when adaptive MFA actually works, and that does work only after they choose Remember Me. So what you're going to want to do is go to our docs. There's a chart that really explains in detail everything, how adaptive MFA works. So that's probably the best place to find that answer, or I'm happy to explain more after privately. You can find me on Slack. Are there any other questions? That was the only one that I found in Q&A. But if there's still time, you can write them now, or you can raise your hand and you can ask live. Okay. I guess that's it. Thank you so, so much for joining us. I hope you enjoyed, and I really hope you use this and you like it. And if you have feedback, I'm really, really happy to hear it. And yeah, so thank you for watching, and we hope to keep your app very, very secure. Thank you very much. Have a good one. Bye.